Hey, everybody, and welcome to AJS News. This is the final scheduled news show
Holy
for
crap.
2020.
Yeah.
I say scheduled because it's 2020, and
Who knows?
who knows what's
We
going to
could
happen.
have a breaking news beforehand, but I want to thank our sponsors real quickly. Check it out.
Joe, you've been wrapping that thing for an hour. We got to go.
All right. I think I'm done. What do you guys think of my package? Huh?
I can't even see your package under. What is that?
What do you mean? It's nice and festive.
Joe, if I found that under my tree, I would burn it.
Awful.
Ugh.
Absolutely awful.
You got to work on your presentation, man.
Seriously, get a better package.
Damn it. Whoa. This looks way better.
That's a package that someone's actually going to want to get.
Nice.
Look at that.
That's clean.
Thank you.
That
Took
is
me a
clean.
little bit. Thanks
I
for
like
the
it.
help.
Very nice, very nice.
Grab that ball toner, that deodorant, and that lawnmower 3.0. And get 20% off right now with free shipping if you go to www.manscaped.com/AngryJoeShow. The coupon is automatically applied with that link. Manscaped, y'all, check it out. I hope you guys got some amazing packages for
Ew.
This is an
Joe,
amazing
yuck.
package.
I was going to say nice package,
Is
but
it
your
too
hair
much?
grew back. I mean, your ribbons
It's
grew
so
back.
curly.
If you need regular
too much.
trimming like this guy over here, grab yourself some Manscaped. It'll make you feel good. It'll make you look good, guys. Click those links down below. I hope you got some great Christmas gifts. I hope maybe you considered some of our sponsors that work with us, Extra Wallets, Manscaped, G Fuel. Those were all gifts for Christmas. Let us know what you got. I'm actually kind of curious. I'll go in the comments, see what kind of things you got for Christmas. Did you manage to land a PS5 or an Xbox? I don't know. So anyways, guys, I hope you had a great Christmas. Let's get to the news that you missed while you was hanging out with your family or playing your games.
You have some.
Oh
show
yeah,
news first,
let
right?
me also say So we've been filming our Cyberpunk review. The parodies are working out pretty interestingly.
It has gone gold.
It is
Huh?
it's
Too
definitely
soon?
not right.
Is it too soon?
And then we're going to, because I'm going to on a little vacation with my girl for like 4 days, something like that. And so I'll get it done immediately when I come back. So I'm thinking it's going to be very, very early January is when you're going to see that. But it'll be worth the wait. It's shaping up pretty nicely and pretty awesome. Almost turning into a little bit of a retrospective at this point. So thank you guys for being so patient. I mean, we put out a ton of videos on Cyberpunk, so you guys kind of know our opinion, but we'll give you the nitty-gritty and final opinion here soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I can think. Oh, the Patreon. So, previously I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool is for our 40K, watch our Christmas special. We did a little, Alex Nurgle army versus other Joe. Juanito died and other Joe died in spectacular burrito fashion.
It's
It was
a Christmas
amazing.
miracle.
It was a Christmas miracle that Joe shot himself by rolling one. So anyways, we wanted to reward some of our higher level Patreon backers with making them miniatures within the game. So that's going to be this week. I'll be putting up a post on Patreon saying, okay, here are the different models in our armies. We're kind of like assembling our army lists now, and you can pick a guy and you can be a guy, so that when we go into 2021, because we'll be doing a campaign in 2021 and see who wins that, you can see yourself on the battlefield, and we can honor you a little bit for
If you don't want to
supporting the
live
show.
forever, you could go ahead and pick my team.
Yeah,
You'll probably be there
you're
for like 5
probably
seconds.
gonna die if you're on our Joe's team rolling them ones. But if you like to see yourself explode in spectacular fashion, by all means,
Get
go ahead.
murdered by Santa Claus.
So check the Patreon later on this week for that. I'll try to put up the post either today or tomorrow, but definitely by the end of the week. All right, guys, so let's get to the gaming news.
Cyberpunk.
All righty, more Cyberpunk.
So Cyberpunk put out patch 1.06. And, we were talking about corrupted saves and how it is absolutely absurd that a game company of that size could not figure out the corrupted save problem, and it took so long. And so they put out and they fixed it.
Yeah.
They also said that it was going to add some stability to some of the last-gen consoles. Now, if you don't know, I've been playing Cyberpunk. I don't need to, but I have been playing Cyberpunk on the PS4 so that we have the PC experience and we have the console experience. And 1.06
I played a little bit too.
broke my shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Like the game from 1.04 up until 1.04 was horrible. You could not play it first 2 days. It was horrible. 1.04
Frames
happened.
would drop like insane amounts.
I got 50 hours into the game, no problem. It crashed every now and then, but nothing too bad. Since 1.06 launched,
Something
it crashes
broke again.
every about 15 minutes or so, and every time it crashes, it usually
Did you
puts
check
me
your
back.
save file? Or they fix that? Did
Yeah,
they fix that on the
this
console?
one's the save file one,
Yeah.
and so they're trying to do stuff. It's just not working, and they're like, "Hey, we fixed the last gen." It's like
No,
No.
you didn't.
you can't.
No, you didn't.
It's horrible.
Sony, they haven't fixed it yet. Don't relist that, because at
They
least
have not
Alex's is crashing over and over. We finished ours on PC, and I'm going to restream the game. I want to start over from beginning, do all the side quests. Once we get past the review, we're going to put out the review, but we'll have some more Cyberpunk streams when this thing is fixed, But so maybe we might have to wait till late January, maybe even February or something, because I want to get what that original experience was supposed to be.
We need to show the fans that OJ can seduce some grannies.
Yeah.
Or a
Yes.
specific
Nasty.
granny,
Ugh.
and that as he wants to do.
Amazing.
All right, we also got some sales figures. So Cyberpunk has sold over 13 million copies, and that takes into account
Damn.
returns that have happened thus far. So
That's after
They're fine.
returns. They're still doing really well.
That's really good. The publisher said this number is accurate as of December 20th.
Well, why wouldn't it be? There's been so much hype surrounding the game. It's CD Projekt Red. We bought in. Everybody else bought in. We were, some people pre-ordered where they don't normally pre-order because they had faith in the company and they were let down.
Yeah.
They
And
were lied
I think
to,
they're
they
still
were
kind of
let
hopeful.
down.
It's like patch is still coming up. It's like, okay, well, it's gonna fix it. It's gonna fix
Yeah.
it.
Games simply
Hopefully-
shouldn't be released in the
hopefully-
state. Period. I don't care how much you love CD Projekt Red.
for
I
sure.
love them. I met them. I've been to their offices. I love them more than you. Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's a
that's why
challenge.
it's difficult, and that's why you tell them no. No.
you get the newspaper rolled up and the squirt bottle.
Yeah.
and-
You don't.
No.
You don't do it like that. So, God, it almost encourages. It doesn't matter what you do. You're still gonna make that.
Todd Howard is right, and I hate him for it.
Tons of money. What do you mean?
It's not how you.
Yeah.
Not how you start. It's how you finish.
no,
and it is-
No. I mean, but that's
Not
partly
like
right.
this.
Well, earlier
Not
when we were
like
talking
this.
about this, you were like, "Well, there's going to be no repercussions." It teaches these companies that there's no repercussions. There's repercussions. There is, and you're about to read some.
Yeah. We're about to talk about some of it, but like these sales numbers are so big.
Might make a dent.
There was no dent, and so that's what the problem is. Like, so everyone talks big on the internet, Twitter. I refunded my game. Really?
I'm sure that the number would have been higher. It's just my opinion that the number would have been higher if this thing was a massive success. Word of mouth would have spread even more, and people who don't normally are into these types of games or wouldn't normally get a console or wouldn't normally get a last gen or upgrade their PC. I'm sure there are people that are like, no, I'm not going to upgrade my PC now. I'll wait.
Yeah, they'll probably wait for it. But as far as like the refund, the people who are out claiming that they got refunds and there was going to be this mass refunds, it just hasn't shown to be the case. And so we talked a little last week about the investors exploring options. Again, investors have an easier time suing CD Projekt than the average consumer, right? Because false advertising is a hell of a lot harder to deal with than lying to investors. And so the investors have filed today.
Monday.
Yeah, they are facing the legal battle. So Rosen Law Firm today announced that it's filed a class action lawsuit against the company alleging executives lied to investors about the state of the game on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So the investors were told something wildly different. That it just works.
Yeah.
You heard that before, and it looks great. Here's the footage.
All we know is the public quotes that they've given, something where it works surprisingly well. I mean, by what metric? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. And we don't know what they privately told investors and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I can't really comment on whether that lawsuit has merit or whether it's gonna, wreck CD Projekt Red and that kind of stuff. Does it say how much damages they're seeking?
Yeah, so we'll get the next line in the suit talks about what you said is the suit claims that CD Projekt management failed to disclose the game was virtually unplayable, which is true. Like the day one, it was even with the day one patch, virtually unplayable. Defendant's statements about its business operations and prospects were materially false and misleading and or lacked a reasonable basis at all relevant times. It doesn't have a current lead plaintiff for the case yet. The Rosen suit in the U.S. may not be the only such one they face. And so they haven't announced like what damages they are seeking. But if they can be sued in multiple countries, you can only imagine that they're going to. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the case is not going to be thrown out, right? CD Projekt Red may have said, like, this is exactly what we said to investors. We were not lying. We weren't purposely trying to mislead them. Like, they can defend themselves pretty well. So we don't know if this is completely meritless, but from what it sounds like, it sounds pretty reasonable if they were told that it works on PlayStation 4, because it didn't work on PlayStation 4.
Now it works.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
But
work.
then it broke again
Yeah,
for
it broke
Alex.
again. It broke again.
It does not
But
work.
it works for Jacob because Jacob's still playing.
No, it's crashing all the time for
It's
Jacob now,
crashing
too.
now. He's
It's
like,
crashing for Jacob too?
Yeah, he's like, this new patch sucks.
Yeah.
I want to go back.
You play
Oh my God. God damn it. So we're just, God damn it, man.
It's horrible because I'll
Yeah.
play for 15 minutes, it'll crash, even if I'm saving all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, you cannot save here. It's like, okay, cool, I'll save as soon as I possibly can. Crashes like, I lost 14 minutes, so I've only played 1 minute of the game in 30 minutes. I hate this. This is the worst.
And
yeah,
it sucks so bad because
does.
I love the content. I love the developers who are in the trenches working on this. These are amazing people, and it's just the
They didn't have
management and the suits above them made the wrong decision. And
time.
those people who worked on the game so hard are now having all this stuff kind of blow up in their faces. And it sucks. It's unfair. They needed more time. And maybe
more
they
time.
needed to cancel the last gen versions, or at least delay them heavily so that they can get it working, as intended. I'm reading a news story here. Halo Infinite Xbox One version is not canceled, confirms 343. But since they have an extra year, doing it right to develop not only the entire Halo Infinite, which seems like they're restarting, but they're not. They're probably just
touching
remixing
everything
some
up, yeah.
things up. But then also
Don't touch 'em,
working on
Craig.
their last gen
Craig's
versions.
amazing.
Because at least Halo Infinite is like they see what's going on with Cyberpunk. They're like, we don't want that for us.
backlash.
I give them points for learning from the mistakes of others. But again, you just have to question, like, who thought it was a good idea to want to release in this kind of state anyway. I mean, you look at some of the games
And
that
they
we
all
played.
knew.
They
We
had
played
to have known.
They
you played
knew.
Red Dead 2 on PlayStation
Yeah.
4, and what did that game look like? It looked amazing. Last of Us 2 looked amazing. There was a lot of amazing looking games on PlayStation 4 that worked, that had a lot more going on than... I drive around Night City, and the streets are empty other than like 2 places in the city. And you know that there was a dial that they just like, well, the PlayStation 4 can't handle actual civilians and NPCs and cars, so let's take out 90% of the civilians and all the cars. And so the game feels empty. And it sucks. But, all right. Next news story. We talked last week about the giant bill in Congress and all of the things that were tied in there. So they were talking about felonies for streamers. We didn't have the language of the bill, and there was potentially disastrous implications if the wording had gone so way. Well, we got the wording, and as far as we are concerned, Twitch and YouTube, because we are
We were wrong about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's a fucking asshole. He's more. How could he do this
Yeah.
to us? But the language hadn't been released. And in my defense, every single time Congress has released or people have released language of this stuff, it has been bad. To the point where I had to fly to Washington to tell some of my senators in Texas and other senators. I think I spoke with John Corbin and Al Franklin, and one other about SOPA, right? And we were arguing on behalf of SOPA. This was a long time ago. And this thing just keeps coming up because, honestly, we need new DMCA rules. We need some new fair use protections because of this kind of stuff. It sounded like he wanted to jail streamers if they happen to have played songs in the background, like jail time, like make them felons.
Yeah, well, so You're kind of right? If you are streaming illegal things and only streaming illegal things, like without the fair written express consent of the NFL, which is actually what's specifically mentioned, right? It's just like if
that's funny because that thing is bunk, and they can't. That's not legal.
Well, now felony you can because it is a felony.
They want to make it.
Now it is now a felony to do so, and so they wanted to give these people who do not have Twitch channels, but they sit there, they put up a picture, and they just play other people's music. They play other people's movies, and now that is something. It was not designed to criminalize streamers who may include unlicensed works, and he goes on to explain some of these things. Now that being said, there is another law that was passed inside this giant bill called the Case Act. Which was described in another article as one of the worst written laws covering DMCA ever.
But I don't want to pass over that first one because, he gave corporations what they want, which is if you're caught streaming that, and we have no idea how that law will be interpreted in actual cases. So say, for example, you stream the NFL and you're putting your commentary over it, you go immediately to jail and you're a felon, right?
If you do not have consent, if you're not the specific.
Whereas before that wasn't the case. Before your repercussions are Twitch will ban you, and then that's it.
Yeah, and so now they have the legal means to come
protecting
after
corporations, and IPs, all right.
Yeah, so he was going after there, and they specifically included wording that as long as it is not the only, I think it was like financially viable portion of it. So it's like talking about fair use without the use fair use. If you are changing things around, you're using parity, or if it's only a tiny portion of like a larger
But you
thing.
see, I'm so suspect
I agree.
on all of these people because all day long, who is in their ear is not the people. They only worry about the people's votes at a certain time of the year when they're coming up for re-election. The other times, the entire times, it's these corporations asking for what they want.
For sure.
Day in and day out. And so that's why we were like, this guy's
not asking.
We were
They're
assuming
paying.
the worst. And then when we got some details, they're trying to convince us that it's not as bad as we think it is, but I'm still suspect on it. And so what about that new
the Case Act was also approved in the package, and it's going to create a quasi-judicial copyright claims court within the Copyright Office. So copyright holders would be awarded up to $30,000 in damages if they find their creative work being shared online. It's been so all of the advocacy groups that we're talking about the Tillis portion, they're like, you don't really have that much to worry about. These are people that are advocacy groups for streamers saying this is not the thing you need to be focusing on. It's the Case Act because it's written so poorly
that it can be manipulated,
so
or
it's like
abused.
Hey, you had a kazoo cover in an Avengers video, a kazoo cover, which was us. And then they wanted half they're like, oh, not only do we want half, we want to fine you $30,000 in court over.
And that was the compromise. They wanted all of it because it was a performative piece, and then they said, okay, fine, well, half of it. What? No.
For a kazoo cover?
For a kazoo cover? Fuck off.
For 10, it was 15
and
seconds.
15 seconds kazoo cover? No, absolutely not. So what they're saying there is that we won't be a felon and we won't go to jail. Tillis is trying to make that clear to everybody. No, you won't go to jail. Other people will go to jail for other things that corporations deem that's a step too far. But then this bill,
which is not his,
hidden. That one's not his, but it's hidden in that it's a writing in there. You would then go to these claims court, a tribunal, which then can award up to $30,000 to the copyright owner. And they're not talking about big ass companies, because if a big ass company's fucking pissed with you, they want millions. Okay,
this is more for independent
probably
artists.
Small claims. This is for like these independent ones.
Now, interesting. Tillis also has.
I don't know how to feel about this because, like you said, it can be abused.
It's gonna be dangerous.
You know what? Fuck that guy. You remember when there was this one girl that wanted to take down PewDiePie's channel just because PewDiePie had like put some of her content in there in the context of a news story or criticism. Well, she could be like, well, now we're going to the tribunal and you're giving me $30,000. I see. I don't know, man.
And it's like you have to show up in person. It's like,
but
I don't live there.
The
It's
flip
like
side of that is that maybe these are the steps that we need in order to get better laws around fair use and better.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Senator Tillis himself has drafted a bill, and he's in the draft process of completely reevaluating and refining the DMCA system.
Senator Tillis is doing
himself.
that. I'm worried.
Yes, and so as of last week, he's been passing around like an early draft of the bill. They actually listed all the things he's gone through, multiple meetings with all sorts of different people. I imagine mostly corporate lobbyists and people who want the DMCA things changed. And hopefully, he's listening to other people,
Us,
The right
streamers,
people.
content
The right
creators,
people.
yeah, and so they're
the people without the massive pockets.
Yeah, a good friend of the show contacted me, and they know someone who is good friends with Senator Tillis, and so we are in the process of attempting to
talk to him.
talk to him about this, and so hopefully we can sit down with either
Fingers
him or
crossed.
some of his
It's
staff.
not. It's not set in stone.
No.
Don't have
There's a slim
expectations that we're getting a
chance.
personal audience with
No,
Tillis.
no,
But we want to at least get some concerns in front of him and show him that
Explain-
this can be exploited.
Yeah.
This can go poorly. And what are your motivations? Explain to me why you're fashioning this. Is he fashioning it because of pressure from the corporations and it's being fashioned in their image?
Yeah.
Or does he actually see what's going on with us content creators and streamers and YouTubers, and he's going to try to help us? Because this could be, you could be the hero, Tillis. Like, seriously, you can go from villain to hero. You would be the hero of the internet if you were defending fair use and you were creating better laws around this type of stuff. This is Web 3.0, Web 2.0. No, this is Web 5.0. I don't know what web it is, okay? This is modern media. You know, nobody watches TV anymore. Just ask your kids. Are they on the iPad all day long watching YouTube? You know they are, okay? This is the new front. We need new laws. We need protections for content creators and not people going to fucking jail for ridiculous reasons and being made a felon for bullcrap. So let us talk to you. We'll put stuff in front of you. We can even ask fellow content creators, give us examples of the most ridiculous things of how these companies already abuse. These companies already abuse their power and try to, basically stomp content creators, and we need your help. So maybe, I called you an asshole before. Maybe that was a little too early. Please, you could become a hero if you are actually going to shape a new bill, like you said, like he says he wants to put forth. But just please listen to content creators when you do so.
Absolutely. Well, the final thing I want to talk about is a game that we covered, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We actually put it in the title of last week, and for whatever reason,
I thought we had talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we sometimes talk about news stories before we do it.
we
So
still
it's
things-
already in our
yeah.
heads, and we're like, all right, we got that one.
that
We
we
forgot.
did.
Okay.
Let's put it in this one.
So I gave praise to Assassin's Creed Valhalla when we did rapid fire review for the game, because at the time of the review, you could buy stuff within the game, but there was none of the bullshit time savers where you get experience boosters. And what they had done in the previous games is they'd slow down experience game to the point where the game was unfun without the experience boosters, and then they sold you that. Now this time they didn't do that.
They just waited.
They did half the thing. They waited until all the reviews had come out, and then they didn't slow down experience game, but they still sold the time savers.
Yeah.
And
It's sinister.
it is
It's
super
sinister
it
as
is.
hell.
Yeah.
They did one step back, but then they took 15 steps forward. You see what I'm saying? One step back at not ruining progression, but they can that I don't give any credit for that, because you can move that dial all day long. The progression and do I need to buy this? No, you don't need to buy it. It's just extra. But why would you then buy it? Well, you do. You save a little bit of time. It's like
It just doesn't make any
don't
sense.
put it in the game.
It's
It's so sinister, and we need to give you some. No, that's God dang it! I need a fucking rolled up newspaper. Every fucking news story. We
He's
need
gonna break
it.
a camera. He's gonna be throwing newspapers in here, and
Yeah,
the camera's
pro-
gonna fall over.
It's probably
They're
not
like,
a good idea
yeah,
to give me
people
something.
like us.
I need
Let's
a
sabotage
gavel.
this.
Okay,
This
that's
feels
it. I'm
weird.
ordering on Amazon. I'm gonna get a newspaper and I'm gonna get a gavel.
That
and I'll
won't
switch
peak on the
between that.
microphones and all.
I don't give a shit. Okay, because Ubisoft deserves to be yelled
Yes.
at. They deserve an angry rant for
Yeah.
that. That's even more sinister than just having them there at the beginning. That's like, we're gonna wait until everybody gives us praise and credit for them not being in there, and then we're gonna put it in there while they're not looking, while it's only the hardcore people still playing the game, and we can milk those hardcore people.
Now,
It's disgusting.
in the review, specifically said they get no points, they get no credit, they get no kudos for not having them in there.
Right.
Because again, you don't you should not get credit for not being a piece of shit.
Correct.
And not including it just simply means you're not a piece of shit.
Right.
But then after the fact, then they're like,
Then-
no, we are pieces
No,
of
we
shit.
are pieces
At least
of
half
shit.
pieces of shit. So we didn't slow down experience and then, cause the problem and
We
sell
are
the
pieces
solution.
of shit, but we sprayed a little bit
There's some
of
poopery.
in there.
Poopery.
Poopery.
No.
Smell that?
It's
The
like
flowers and
it
shit.
smells like flowers and shit now. Like what?
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, Ubisoft, for your underhanded tactics
So-
there with Valhalla.
Because
Valhalla.
CD Projekt and Ubisoft are still bouncing back and forth between which is the largest company,
I'll
game
see you
game
in
company
Valhalla.
in Europe, and so it's like CD Projekt's getting knocked down, and Ubisoft is like, hey, some of their stuff's okay. They're getting oh no, now you're assholes again. It's just like it's a race to the bottom with these two
You
companies. Right?
fucking doing it to yourself. Why?
Guys, all right, we have to create some sort of a constitution or some sort of articles of confederation for gamers.
Gamer Bill of Rights.
Gamer Bill of Rights, where it's like these are the microtransactions that we're okay with because we understand it's a digital age.
Make money.
We understand that you want to make money, but at the same time, there are microtransactions that are unacceptable. And boosters and time savers when a game is fashioned in a way that it is, and then progression or microtransactions tied directly to progression, like what happened with the Battlefront. So there's certain things, and we need to make a list. And if you want in the comments to help
Or
me
if
make
guns
a list,
cost $100.
and then we can go into
No, just fuck
2021.
Riot. One of the
with
things on the list is fuck Riot
very.
games. And I play League
with
but fuck
very
Riot
specific
games.
rules, because I have no problem with cosmetic microtransactions as long as there are cosmetic free costumes, because you can't have an RPG. Oh, you said my cosmetics are okay, so we could charge you the $3 for horse armor, $7 for horse armor, and $10 for.
You
costume.
start off with a potato sack.
Well, you start off with a
have to
potato sack,
pay-
and you get no.
You have to pay for
clothing at all. No, that's not acceptable.
That's like Avengers. Like you
have
can't
to
change
have
your costumes unless you buy something.
Right, you have to have plenty. Well, you can, but they're lame, and you have to have plenty of them, and they have to be impressive looking, and then you can add some more, right?
And also they can't be $300 because fuck.
so
you.
we have to figure
Right.
out
Yes.
the Gamer Bill of Rights, the Gamer Microtransaction Bill of Rights, or something. Somebody help us in the comments with that. I will love you forever. I'll give you some credit. I will also be working on one, and then we can debut that in 2021.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right, guys. So thank you so much to our sponsors, Manscaped. They keep us going. You guys keep us going by watching the show, subscribing,
fresh.
liking it. Click those links below if you want to be fresh. Gotta be fresh.
Smell,
Need to be
smell
fresh.
good in the new year.
And smell like a man.
Let's get rid of the stink of 2020
a true man.
off the world and your bodies.
Yes.
Smell great with Manscaped.
Seriously, it'll make you feel good. We wouldn't be working with them if it didn't make you feel good. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in episode 2. 2 of these?
Two.
Yes.
2. All right. See you in the second episode. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.